Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Happy New Year everybody. I cannot believe it is 2024, and to enter 2024, why don't we enter in with the most interesting card, or interesting isn't the best word, frustrating and funny card, I would say, in this patch, because not only is it super frustrating to play against, but it is also super duper funny and probably my favorite community meme so far. It is Thunder Manifestation, the card of many names and many pains, because this card, does bring the hurt when it comes to the TCG, and we will be talking about all of that in our coming matches. So if you're new to the day one / just general first impression series, what we do here is I explain the entire kit of the card, and I run you through some matches, as well as teaching you, any tips and tricks you want to watch out for the card, because of course these things have special mechanics, and as well as any team building comps that you can do so you can play this card in your deck. But without further ado, let's get right into it with our first one over here. And I actually will preview the deck first, because I only have 2 matches for you today, so I'm going to do this, whereas it's not typically my formula. But let's go right over to the ICBM. There we go, ICBM, featuring Bennett, Linny, and of course the thundering manifestation. That's nickname number 1. But anyway, yeah, pretty standard list, just taking full advantage of low cost cards and things that'll do guaranteed reaction, but that's not important. We'll get to do that more as we get into the match. Just want to show it now, but let's get into it right away. And here we go, and here. Called I found a Mamere cult member. I wonder who this one is. We'll find out eventually, right? But anyway, let's dive right into what this card does. So normal attack, nothing special. It is electro infused. Just a good old monster card, does its thing. The thunderous wing slash. Now the big preface of this card is going to be its skill, and as well as the status it applies to your characters, and we'll see that in just a moment. So once we get in, here we go, the turn starts, and bang, there you see it right there, right on Nahida, is Lightning Strike Probe. Now Lightning Strike Probe is sort of just a kind of nothing burger. It is just there to exist, and it will always exist, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of this, so don't think about that. What Lightning Strike Probe does, if we go ahead and read the description, and I'm going to read it on the skill on purpose, is because Lightning Strike Probe, oh never mind, there we go, Lightning Strike Probe, after the characters whose side on the field this card is on uses a skill, attach lightning rod to the active character on the other side. Now you're asking, what the heck is lightning rod? Well, lightning rod is the thing that really makes thunder manifestation or station a very, very painful card to go up against, and my goodness, it really ramps up. So when anyone has lightning rod attached to them, and we'll see it soon after Linny does his little shenanigans, the character will take +1 damage, and also thundering manifestation will always attack that character. And let me tell you, that damage ramps up, and especially in a deck like this Overload, you'll see it happen right now. So in theory, the player should be moving away, but now you can see that I have lightning rod attached to them, so not only are they going to be taking +1 damage, but I also guaranteed hit them off field. So we should see that in just a moment. Let's take a look see here. Let's see, my opponent drops Seed Box and they drop the U. Very good play, but Nahida, your life is forfeit. Crunch, 6 damage off the Overload, as you do. And look at that, Manny just drops the damage like that. It really is something. And all your setup is kind of devastated by this card, and that's something I'm going to talk about as we go on. But yeah, that is how this functions. And so long as that status stays attached, as long as nobody else uses the skill, then I will continue hitting that card. Of course, it's turn 1, so I don't have enough dice for that, but that can happen in some other decks that have more dice efficiency. Anyway, as we move into the next turn, we can talk about just in general Thunder Manifestation Burst. So the burst, it does 3 damage on cast to the opposing character. Oh no, sorry, not 3 damage, sorry. That is the other one, that is this one. But anyway, yep, I just dropped it right now. It is Thundering Shackles. So it doesn't lock you in place, which is cool, but it deals 2 electro damage on cast and summons 1 Thundering Shackle. Now Thundering Shackles on the end phase deal 3 electro damage to the opposing character affected by Lightning Rod. So once again, Lightning Rod is coming into play, and this makes it very scary, because even if your character is off field, and just like the skill, you will still get hit by this thing in the end phase. And let me tell you friends, 3 damage on its summon, that's a lot, and nothing we've actually ever seen before outside of Nilu Bloomcore's plus talent. So that is a lot, and only for 2 costs as well, and does damage on cast. It is a lot to deal with. And so you'll see as we go forward with with Manny here is that we're going to have a lot of time. We're gonna have a lot of fun just taking care of the off-field characters who usually do setup like Nahida, and you know, they're no longer my problem. I don't have to care about it, you know. And that is kind of where I think Electro Oceanid takes the biggest advantage of these abilities. Yeah, as we're gonna go through the match, Thunder Manifestation is just gonna, you know, it's gonna sit there. I'm gonna sit here nice and healthy, 10 HP, you know, never gotta do nothing with this. And as we blaze through this match, oh my goodness, wow, Lightning Lord does so much damage. Oh my god, jeez, man. Oh, I just blasted Xingqiu to the Nether Realms. Now there is actually something I'm going to talk about here, and you know, it is not something I typically do, but I will talk about counterplay, because like I mentioned, this card is very frustrating for people, and they're really against you know, trying to play against it. Whenever they do it, they're just like, oh, what do I do? I don't know what to do, because you know, you have to use your skill at some point, right? And yes, that's definitely true. And for the most part, I would say in a deck like this, where I'm you know, on purpose having these characters combine their powers to guarantee that I always take someone out, it's not really the most avoidable thing. But the thing is that even though Sparky does do, you know, a lot of that initial damage onto a setup character, it's a great opportunity for characters who are very low, you know, low commitment. Someone like Dea is a great character to kind of soak up that damage and then, you know, maybe survive the next turn. Probably not, but in general, like, you do have to expect to lose a character. Now you can do some shenanigans where you pop over to other characters and on purpose use a skill so that they take the damage. But regardless, is that, you know, at the end of the day, Burb over here is just going to blast you with that. But those are some ways you can kind of look at a little bit of swap stalling, and skill stalling is something you can do, because at the end of the day, the important part, and what I would recommend to the opponent, is that you don't want to lose a character like Nahida too early, at least without dropping one skill, because by doing that, you know, in turn, Linny is a character I never pivot back to until the very end in this game. So, you know, now it's the Benny and T-Map show. So I really am in zero threat range in this scenario, and that's where you want to watch out for stuff. Anyway, moving on, we're gonna let this match roll forward. Yoimiya is over here doing her thing, and yeah, as I said, this is kind of just. Well, I will take a little bit of damage here, but ouchie. But anyway, this deck specifically, the Overload one, is, you know, really prioritizes its ability to just instantly obliterate you as an ICBM, or the Intercontinental Ballistic Manifestation, as 20DX and Glass call it, which I think is very funny. But anyway, yeah, and now Bennett is just kind of the icing on the cake. Once he gives you burst, both Linny and Manny will take significant advantage of it. Of course, I will be dealing, let's do the math, my friends, 4 damage total from Lightning Rod when I drop a skill, and then +2, so 4 + 2 is 6, and then you add Overload, which is another +2. Let's go ahead and check the Pyro status. There we go. Pyro status, it does +2, and then if I really want to combine it, I can go even further. So I think you can understand that, like, this card just absolutely can fold characters. Whoever is sitting with Lightning Rod, and they're gonna have a very bad time. Well, yeah, I just eat that firework to the face. Got nothing on me, Yoimiya, even though you're probably my best boss killer in the main game, but don't worry about that. Anyway, yes, Friend of Rue here is really not something to scoff at, and it's gonna be very difficult to find a realistic counterplay out of swap stalling and you know, just kind of having the right deck to take care of it. You know, I can definitely see a lot of players, especially with the upcoming Tavern event, where it's just a one win or lose. And speaking of big damage, something like this happens to you, you want to quit the game. Honestly, you're just like, man, that's not fair. It really does suck. Speaking of which, while we're here, we're going to talk about the talent card Grieving Echo, which I will actually not be able to talk about in the next match because we did not get the draw. But Grieving Echo is great because basically it's a 0-cost talent card, so that's always good. So that means you always equip it. There's never a reason not to use it, or you can just throw it away. And what happens with Grieving Echo is also not an action, so keep that in mind. You can equip it just like Ayaka, just put it on you, and it's free too. But every time you hit someone with the Lightning Rod status, you will gain 1 card, and this can happen a maximum of once per round, which is funny because when you draw both of them, you can just restack it. But anyways, that is super duper huge, and it's kind of the setup a lot of people use with Electro Oceanid here, because you know it's super easy, it's free. Your Thundering Manifestation will always hit the Lightning Rod character unless the person you're fighting does some crazy shenanigans. You know, so it's just free, it's free. But anyways, GG's. You know, that's just how the cookie crumbles, my friends. That is one of the more aggressive decks. Now I will warn you about you know, this overload deck in general. It is definitely, while you get that really early on guaranteed overload when using Linny and TM, but the thing, and that's why I actually run Chang in this deck, because you get guaranteed piercing proc, and then you get the guaranteed overload, and then by then you'll deal another reaction. But as much as that's cool, this deck of course still is a little flimsy. If the opponent snipes your Bennett, you know, you are going to have to struggle a little bit to get out of range. And of course, once you swap to Bennett and you don't really feel like swapping to Linny anymore because they wasted their setup on him, you won't have that easy pyro application, because Bennett is not the greatest pyro player, and you also need a little bit of ramp. So this isn't the safest deck, but of course I still recommend it, because not only does it completely farm NPCs, but if you see someone with a setup deck, you will just fold them instantly. Like, it's not funny how much this deck can do. It can even do FTKs, which is why I on purpose keep things like Fresh Wind and Freedom, so you can completely maintain turn priority and then just shut down the game. Now, moving on to TM's more popular deck, which is Azdaha Magic. And this is specifically in Zoggy's list from our week 1 of Genius Invocation TCG tournaments. And in here, this is the list you'll see more often, because while it's not making maximum damage out of the Friend of Rue, it really doesn't matter, because its continuous ability to hit off field and apply consistent superconducts with the help of Senora really does a lot to, you know, keep your game plan up. And then Azdaha and Senora can kind of just solo the rest of the game. So let's jump right into it and let's see what we got. Jumping in right here, there we go, and versus Harmonize. Nice. Now this is specifically, I actually took a pretty long time to get this match out, and you can tell because I didn't even get a chance to switch the board out, because I really wanted to make sure I demonstrated, you know, Thunder Manifestation's abilities, because this deck definitely, while it prioritizes Senora, it really kind of capitalizes on Senora and Azdaha's strength. I still think you know, Cops tier right here, you know, is a pretty significant factor in, you know, this deck and making sure it works with its middle game plans. So let's get Senora set up here. That's how you always start it. You always start Senora. You get 1 Cryo Lash Out, and that's really all you need going forward. So let's get fast right that. There we go. All the status effects trigger, because these characters love their statuses. My. Anyway, here we go. Seed Box into Sealy, into another Sealy, I believe. Yep. Because they want to get max value. Very nice. And now Babel is going to skill. Oh, she's going to equip the Goddess of Flowers, but I think not. That will not, even though I will hit you, that will not save you. And here we go. And this is the standard line for almost every time. You get a nice big old superconduct. And now, even though you're gonna, this character, you know, really takes advantage of charging energy super fast and just dropping their burst and dying, I'm not gonna let them do that. So let's continue. Raging Thunder of the Amako Peak. What a card indeed. So, route of moves, and we're gonna move on to the next turn. Just blasting through. My. Talking about team comps is, you know, it's an interesting thing about TM is that really I feel like these are the 2 comps that I recommend, but I honestly feel like you can kind of put this character anywhere. Like, you really couldn't go wrong with like a double Dendro comp, you know. Maybe you want to do only superconduct just with this character, just because you feel like it, because you like the feeling. Electro Charge works. Like, you can kind of do anything. The thing you want to prioritize is instant element application. You know, Senora does instant element application, Linny does instant application and a summon as well, which is really huge. And by the way, since I ended first here, we're gonna see you know, that application take advantage, because boom, instantly Babel is dead and there's no more there's nothing she can do. So now it's just stuck in a 1v1 with these 2, which is super huge. Like, that's what makes the pairing of these 2 so strong, is that you can start ripping out characters left and right, especially if they give you the turn priority on turn 1. You know, any 10 HP character is just dunzo for sure. Yeah, I'm probably gonna take I was predicting an overload here, I think, and I do think I take it, but you know, at the end it doesn't matter because I also have the wonderful magical abilities of Gilded Dreams, and then just boom boom boom, switch everything out, and then I drop what is this called, Thundering Shackles. I just call them Burst. I ain't calling it that. Oh, they sent it off, how dare you. That's okay though, not the biggest deal. But yeah, I honestly don't really have much more to talk about when it comes to Electro Rodea, so we're just gonna keep the match going in as you do. Yeah, it does take a little bit of a while because, you know, this is a slower deck. You know, lots of HP, lots of healing thanks to Kavanara or the, you know, I don't know what to call it. I've been calling it Carvanara, but I also just want to call it like the Goddess of Flowers. Let's go. Or sorry, Voru Cautious Glow. My bad. See, I got so mixed up with naming, you know, this silly card, the Electro Bat or Batman, that I got mixed up with Voru and Kavanara Quest because I've been doing that on my own time. But anyway, yep. Now we're just having a fence off with Copper Seer and Azdaha. You know, they're gonna box each other, go back and forth. The nice thing is that, you know, if Azdaha, you know, grabs any of the elements, you can take full advantage of it because you usually don't go back to T-Map after a while, you know, because, you know, you kind of done your job. You gotten one character out, maybe two, if you're really feeling a little crazy. But Thunman basically has done his job, and we're just gonna chilling here until the opponent has to break. Now, some tips for this deck, since I actually do have time for it, because there's really not much to talk about, right? Is that your turn one is pretty much guaranteed as long as you have, you know, A, you roll the dice correct, B, you have like a situation like this. And this is actually something I use very typically when playing a lot of my games, is that, you know, you dice a cringe over here, right? And this deck does not really run quote unquote dice fixtures like Paimon toss up, right? Because it's not really the most advantageous thing that you want to run with such limited deck slots. Now, the thing is nice is that, of course, Azdaha over here does have the talent card. And even though I have only 2 Electro dice, I kind of want to swap back here to get full value out of the Superconduct. I can just swap to Azdaha, use the 2 Hydro dice, put this in, get 1 extra Hydro dice, or 1 extra Electro dice, because it creates 1 for each type of your party, even if they're dead. And, you know, that kind of fixes the issue, so I don't really need that kind of dice fixing. So I'll get that mini tangent about Azdaha. You can check the other video if you want to see what is happening over there. But yeah, just gonna keep a little sliding through the match. Equip Gamblers for some reason, I don't know why. Who knows? Let them cook. Let me say that. Yeah, and see, we should be using talent card right about here. Also, I do play a little suboptimally on purpose in this match just so I can showcase, you know, TM's abilities. So just do keep that in mind. Yeah, see, there we go. I just dropped Azdaha's talent card, and now I have 3 dice all in for stuff, but I'm actually going to use it for my own thing, and I'm going to fix my dice with Opera every place because I have more equipment than the opponent, which is really weird considering how that all works, but it doesn't matter. And stomp, goodbye. What a boss fight. Well, not really, because this is a flimsy little bat and this is the big turtle. Anyway, sliding through. It is just a Klee 1v1 now. Almost there. You know, props to Klee for surviving this long. She's usually one of the more flimsy characters who, you know, as much as she can output the damage, you know, she's really not going to do much else outside of that. So, passing through the dice roll. Nice. And, you know, I was going to ask this question at the end, but what do you guys call the Thunder Manifestation? I've been saying all the nicknames as a joke as we go through this guide. I hope it wasn't too confusing for everybody here, but you know, I'll go ahead and read the list I actually have on the side now. I took them from both Leah's tweet and then just grabbing stuff from our Discord server, discord.gg/GITCG. But we have, you know, of course, the base name, Thunder Manifestation. And then, of course, we have Station, Manny, E-Girl, Fess, Coppeteer, T-Map, Electro Oceanid, TM, Lightning Lord, Sparky, Raging Thunder, the Yamako Peak, Thunderbird, Burb, T-Map, Intercontinental Ballistic Manifestation, Stacy, the Friend of Rue from the quest, Thunman, Electrobat, Batman, and Electro Rodea, and I take the win. GG's, my friends. Very, very nice. All right, but yeah, that's kind of all I have to say about Thunder Manifestation. It is a surprisingly more simple card than I expected, because I really expected this you know, like this thing to be really complicated. But since the status just kind of automatically applies you know, to your opponents, you really don't have to think too hard about it. It's just like, okay, you know, the status is applied and now I deal 4 damage. That's wonderful, right? It is definitely a little frustrating, and there's not a lot of realistic counterplay in the TCG against a card like this. It is just the FTK the card, you know, it's why it's called the intercontinental ballistic missile. Actually, I will showcase the other deck here over here. It's just a standard Azdaha Magic. You know, this is specifically in Zoggy's list, which I was a little more comfortable with. I've tried a lot of Magic lists. This is probably the one I like the most, because I feel like this is the one where I feel like I've been getting the most out of my game plan, unlike some other ones, which is nothing to say. At the end of the day, Azdaha Magic is Azdaha Magic. Like, it has Gilded Dreams, it has its talent, you get 4 dice for free, it don't matter. But anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it and all I have to talk about Thundering Manifestation for my closing thoughts. But yeah, let's go ahead and slide over to the deck list section so you all can copy those down. So let's take a look right here. Here is the deck list for you, my friends. Here, there we go. There is both the Overload edition and the Magic edition, so you can have fun with all of those for yourself. But anyway, that's kind of about it. That's all I have to say for that. One little announcement for everyone here. We do have tournaments coming this weekend. You know, Happy New Year. You know, they're not having cursed schedules, you know, like the New Year's, because we had to squeeze it right in between so you guys could still hang out with your families and friends and all that shenanigans. But it is week number 3, GI Weekly Asia, January 5th, 8 p.m. JST, GI Weekly Europe, January 6th, 4 p.m. CET, GI Weekly America, January 7th, 3 p.m. EST. That's right, and that's pretty much all we got for there. There's also, I don't have a graphic for it, but the CTG, you know, for the Genshin Impact Tavern, discord.gg/Genshin Impact Tavern, does have their tournaments open as well. They just opened it up like literally last night as I was preparing to make this video. You know, so the signup should last about a week-ish, and keep in mind there's the new Chasm card backs, you know, that you can achieve from this tourney, so be sure to check that out over. I will be probably making a video later down the week as we do. But anyway, that is pretty much all I have from me. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. And be sure to comment your name for the Thunder Manifestation. Bye bye.
I stand before it, alone and unchanging.